podcast. We got a special episode here today. As you're seeing here on my screen, we actually got some webcams. I know, it's amazing. So we got Dan here from Dragori Games.
Hello, nice to meet you.
We got Code, which you guys probably have seen before, and or at least heard before in my previous streams. We got Michael from the King of Average channel,
Hey guys.
and we got Raymond from Boardgame Heaven.
Hey, man.
So today we got some fun, exciting things to do. We're gonna play a little bit of Arena of the Contest, kind of give you the rundown on the basics, and we're gonna play a short game. And I have come up with some fun team compositions for people to try out, especially if you've never played before. And the best part is we're going to start off with our interview here with Dan. So we're going to ask him some questions about Tanares Adventures, the RPG book, and let's get started. All right, so these are questions that I've come up with along with help from the community. So the first question is, what is the progress for Tanares Adventures in the RPG book?
All right. Well, first of all, thanks for having me. I'm really happy to talk about these projects for Dragori Games here, especially today in the middle of Spiel Online. And about your question, things are starting to move pretty fast for Dragori Games overall. There's a saying we follow that the champion of the tournament to determine the fastest tree chopper was the lumberjack that spent the most time sharpening his axe. We used the pandemic to our advantage in that regard and went back to the drawing board to think about every single thing we had promised and that we had already started to develop and even playtest. And we ended up redesigning many of the features and storylines that we were taking for granted. The result is that we are confident that we turned what would already be a good game into a truly great one. We have designed the leveling up system, the monsters, the skill trees, the items. We have organized the story in the sense of what goes where and mainly when. Miniatures are practically finished. And the obvious thing that we are most behind is playtesting and even game designing quests. We'll have more than 100 total, and that is an Herculean task with the aggravating factor that one cannot design a quest without having everything else, like our 100 plus villains, designed, playtested, and rock solid. That being said, and going back to the tale of the lumberjack, with the good news is that we have started to chop this tree down. We hired many game designers, and thankfully, we have been able to use our office spaces for a few months now. So we are optimistic about the speed of how things will move because we have laid a solid foundation. Same thing can be said about the RPG project. We took a lot of time to conceive an exciting storylines, original concepts for each of our species and classes. We assembled a database of great ideas, and above all, we have determined the spirit of the world, how we want Tanares to be known by the players, especially in comparison to all the other ones. Having laid this foundation, we started to type everything down, and things are moving fast. I'd say we have almost 80% of the main ideas already laid out and 20% of everything written down already, and that is considering the 600 plus pages from all three books. For example, all four classes are already written down and designed, and their playtests have already begun. And oh boy, they promise a lot of fun in
Awesome.
well-balanced classes with unique features that you just don't see in the official stuff. We expect to have a sample chapter of the adventure released to the public before the end of the year, where people will be able to play two of our original classes, the Dragon Blade and the Mad Walker.
Awesome.
And we are sure we can deliver these books alongside Tanares Adventures for those who back both. And our current estimate delivery is for the third quarter of 2021.
Whew, that's a lot. It's exciting. I'm definitely really excited, and I'm sure, from what I've seen from the community, everyone's really excited to see what new things you've come up with. And, of course, I saw the stream yesterday with Alex, and I was really excited to hear about being able to use some of the content from the RPG book in the board game. So for me, I'm mostly a board gamer than a RPG person. So, hearing that they're RPG book, I'm like, well, this is pretty awesome. Maybe I'll be interested in it. But then hearing, oh, well, you can use some of this too, really is getting me more excited to even want to get it.
We are very excited as well to be talking about it because every day is a blast. We are coming up with great ideas, and to seeing them come into fruition is a blast.
Awesome. All right, well, the next one should be a pretty quick one, hopefully. So, is there any history or reason as to the name Tanares for the world?
There's no big story behind it, but there is a hidden meaning, which is the conjunction of the names of two gods. Can you guess which
Oh,
ones?
yes.
You guess who?
There's you might want to
Uh,
check the art book, and you guys might be able to figure this one out.
no, it's gods from Earth, not from
Oh,
Thanatis.
Oh, well,
Thanos and Ares, the gods of death and war,
gotcha.
which is appropriate considering the Moroccan curse, one of the scenario's staples, right?
Oh, okay, cool. Let's see. So, good thing I brought up the art book. That's the next question. So, people have asked this a lot. Will the physical version of the art book be available during the source book campaign?
Uh, you're talking about the art and world of Arena the contest, right?
Yes, that's
So
correct.
there are a ton of rewards awaiting our fellow community, many surprises and cool stuff along the way. And we usually make a point to go out of our way to listen to our community and answer to its requests. But the point is, the art and world of Arena does not quite belong with the content that we will offer. This means it won't be featured in the Kickstarter, as some people are requesting, but anyone who wants a physical copy will be able to get it in the post-campaign I'm sorry, pledge manager.
Oh, okay.
Right, so, but that being said, there is an expanded version of the Art and World available to download for free and its entirety in Dragori Games booth at Spiel Online. So we will urge everyone to check that out. Even those who do have the Art and World, the physical copy available, and who have already read them, uh, this version that is available to download is updated and with more artwork. It's an expanded version.
All right, cool. All right, so let's, since you are the lore guy of Dragori, let's move to a couple lore-related questions, because I feel like those don't really get enough limelight in the public sector here. So, for people that maybe don't know, there is a group in the arena world called, well, it's Death, which is death. They are one of the main antagonists of the story. And the question is there anything you can tell us about this group, how it's formed, and about its leaders?
Okay, so DEATH is an acronym, right? Its full name is Draconic Evolutionist Assembly of Tanarian Helpers. They do not antagonize arenas or the heroes per se, but they believe that their goal, when fulfilled, will make arenas no longer necessary. So I think that in that sense, you can say that they are antagonists of arena. And their goal is to find and kill all avatar dragons. That's because they discovered that dragons were involved and probably provoked every single instance of the Moroccan curse's natural catastrophes. So basically, no more dragons, no more Moroccan curse, no more Moroccan curse, and people could wage war. Uh, Arenas
Who
and
doesn't
even
love
the
war, right?
empire itself. Arenas, yeah, they think that, well, we believe that we have rights of self-determination. So
Gotcha.
we
Yeah.
cannot be at the mercy of the gods. And so as soon as people could wage war, arenas and even the empire itself would no longer be necessary. And I will tell you why they are not as worried about the possibility of waging war. Uh, this group was originally a religious association brought together by people who wanted to do good and to study dragons. Now, first witness account and historic record of the appearance of dragons in Tanares is found in the evolutionists' sacred scriptures. To summarize, the scriptures tell that the gods, when descending upon Tanares, chose to physically manifest in the shape of and the form of dragons. This leads many to believe that dragons are almost like divine creatures, avatars of the gods in the world. Um, Dragons do not mix up with commoners. They prefer to live in segregation, away from civilization, in remote sites. And up until that point in history, then not much was known about dragons. People did not come up with the resources to explore sites of extreme geography and research dragon habitats, or to dig up ancient tomes and scriptures of long forgotten civilizations that knew a little more information about dragons. So that was formed to recover that and to study and to research. Now, one important feature of the scenario, now talking about the big scope of the scenario, is that there's an imperial decree that forbids the assembly or gathering of groups with more than 5 armed people. That is due to the preoccupation that several armed people together could begin a massive armed conflict, which results in massive bloodshed, which triggers the Moroccan curse. So Death's structure is very peculiar. At the top of their pyramid, there is a council with 4 leaders, each representing a region in Tanares. And each of these leaders
Oh.
commands a group of 4 people, 1 rank below them, and so on in 10 total ranks. This means that any imperial operation, for example, will catch a maximum number of 5 deaths together, and that is perfectly legal. However, death has 10 ranks in its structure. This means that an order issued by the top of the pyramid can quickly reach the years of 4 to the 10th power, which is more than 1 million people. So that's the reason why they are not so worried that all of a sudden you can wage war. And guess who many of these people are? The Dragonblades, one of the truly original classes we are bringing in our RPG supplement for the 5th edition of the world's greatest role-playing game. And I urge everyone to subscribe at dragori.com/RPG so they can get a sample of this class to play before our Kickstarter. It's not released yet, but we will soon. And the Dragon Blade will be one of the classes that we will release publicly before the campaign.
Awesome. That is quite a bit of lore there, and a little background for people that don't know much yet about the arena world. So it's great to get that background.
Sorry if I went a little bit in
Yeah,
depth.
that's okay. I mean, I tried to make them unique questions, so it wasn't just general lore related questions. Get something a little more unique than maybe what we would potentially usually see. So.
But death appears here and there in the Arena the Contest campaign tome, so I think that this background can be a little bit more informative for people who face this organization in their games.
Yeah. All right, let's see. Uh, let's jump around to one of the other questions. So you wrote the original campaign, right?
Okay, yes.
So what was your favorite part of the original campaign? What are you most proud of?
Uh, I have been asked this question already, and sometimes my answer changes as I change. Right? So today I think that I actually liked the different endings. I think it's awesome to get a glimpse of how much the decisions of 4 characters can produce so much impact in the world. To see the striking differences, not only of what you do in the final mission, but the very first boss you decide to face. if you fight Azimor, it's a completely different world. The fact that the entire storyline behind Tanares Adventures board game can only arise from the fact that 4 players decided to kill Thaira, and that has like 1 million consequences for the history of the world. Well, I can't wait for you all to see how things unfold in Tanares Adventures.
Yeah, man. I'm excited too. I've played through the campaign, I think, at least probably like 3 or 4 times now, so I don't think I've gotten every possible scenario. I think Alex was saying that there's 4 main endings, is that right?
Yes,
Because there's kind
but
of like variations depending on like what happens
you,
like
you
right
have
near the end.
you have 4 final bosses, but you have many more different paths that you can
Yeah.
follow. So even though there are 4 final bosses, you have many histories that you can tell, and one of these particular paths leads to what I would say, like if you had to choose one page, I would say a new prelude,
Yeah.
which is the consequence of one specific path that you follow, which is what we are considering as the canon for
yeah, exactly.
Tanares Adventures.
Yeah, I think I asked Alex that in our last stream that I had with him of what that canon ending was as well. So, okay, so I'm gonna throw the next couple questions here to our other streamers. Either Raymond or Michael, do you have some questions for Dan?
You want to go first, Mike?
Would love to. Okay, so my main question, now that I have the chance to ask, is why did you make the riddles so darn hard? 'Cause I feel like an idiot every time I play.
I think that my answer would have to be something in the lines of if you decide to skip them or if you do not solve them at all, it does not have a huge impact on the quests, and they could not have because it would be unfair to, let's say,
People
you
like me?
miss no. It would be unfair if you got to the end of a quest and you almost won and you saw, well, if it was not for this big debuff from not beating a puzzle, I would have won the quest. So the consequences of missing a puzzle are not very strong. So I would say that, well, for people that do enjoy puzzles, let's give them a tough nut to crack.
Yeah.
And if you do not like puzzles, because that's the point, right? If you do not even like puzzles, you can just skip them and you will be fine. For Tanares Adventures, that will be a different interaction with puzzles. There are specific side quests that are puzzle related. They are focused on a bit more of a puzzle. They are a little bit more of a puzzle nature. So if you like puzzles, you can, let's play this side quest, this specific, we call relic side quests, because they are all started with a specific relic that you gain in main quests. So you go to the side quest and, I like puzzles, I would like a challenge, so let me go to the relic side quests. And outside of the side quests, you will find fewer puzzles. So if you do not like them, you will not face them.
Cool.
We love the puzzles in our group. I mean, we'd especially a few of them. I think we spent like a couple hours one time, and we had like paper written everywhere, and we're writing out every possible like types.
Yeah, they're
solution.
intense. we were at the point of shouting at each other for passwords. Just because once there was only one of us left, he was like, "What do I guess?"
Yeah.
Who's next?
So do you have any? Do you remember what puzzle that was, James?
Which one was the most challenging?
Or where you had it?
Yeah. What do you think was the most sufferable?
So, well, actually, it's sort of a puzzle, but it's at the same time it's really more just there isn't really, I think, an answer to it, but it helps you lay out the story. So it's the cemetery graveyard where you see all the different names and you have to tie those to each of the different phrases. And I think there's like 20 different 15 or 20 different phrases, and you have to like tie them together to make the story. Um, and it takes a little bit of logic to kind of pull it together, but that one was we came up with all kinds of different ideas of what the real answer was, but it was just tons of fun to even do that.
Yeah, one of the things that we are considering including, it's one of the suggestions of the Discord community. It is to lay out, well, let's not just give the answers to the puzzles, but let's the solution, right? So everyone can know what from that fragment of scorched
Yeah.
scroll, for example. Well, what is the rest of the sentence that is burned out? And what is the logic behind the solution of many of these puzzles? So we're going to do that as soon as we can.
Yeah, I think that's pretty good. That way, you don't just get an answer. You can understand why you have that answer. So that'd be great. Did you have the next question, Raymond?
Yeah, it's more of a general question, which also has to do with more or less with the puzzles, because we've seen those in the first campaign. So Tanares is gonna be as well a campaign, but a lot bigger, bigger scale. So I was also wondering, are we going to see more puzzles? Are we going to see more branching paths? Basically, what can we expect that Tanares Adventures will bring to the game, extra above from what we've already seen so far?
Well, I cannot even begin to imagine how I'm going to answer that in a short or reasonable time frame. Practically everything Tanares Adventures has changed regarding cooperative mode and how the campaign's played in comparison with Arena the Contest. Now you have over 100 quests total distributed throughout 6 weeks of in-game time. And now you have side quests, and like I said, you have the Relic side quests, which are puzzle focused, and you can just skip them if you don't like puzzles. And regarding game design, there's also many differences regarding level up and city structures, skill trees. There are let me see, how can I summarize this in hero progression has been completely reformed. We recognize it as one of the things that are suboptimal in Arena the Contest, possibly because you level up only 5 times during the campaign. And with more than 100 total quests in Tanares Adventures spread about the 6 weeks of action, like I said, and divided between 2 different teams, which, by the way, allows up to 8 players to cooperate in the same campaign, we had to put the whole system under a microscope, and you can read, including one of many of our conclusions in our Kickstarter updates, published inclusively during the campaign. And I could go on about this topic for the entire day, but to summarize, what I can say is that the action selection in the game is much richer, and consequently that allows for a richer variety of options of what you can do with the resources you amass. And when you level up, there are some rewards you obtain as a consequence of just playing missions, like high level items dropped, and there are many elements you may purchase in one of our city structures, and that is a cool feature related to how you decide to spend your limited resources. Regarding the story itself, it has, well, if Arena had dozens, I would say this has thousands of different paths. I ended up doing a bit of a quick calculation here, and actually I think it goes in the millions of possible different paths, especially because you can choose which side quests you're going to do, so you're going to experience different stories necessarily. And even quest selection is also something that you have to make tough decisions, because time passes and you have like 7 different side quests that you can do, but you do not have enough days in the week to do them, and the opportunity to do them will pass. So you have to choose which side quests you're going to do if you want to do them. So it will also have many different endings, many different bosses.
So we may
And
never finish
it will
every
be,
ending, is what you're saying.
yes, if you decide to, well, of course that you can play one ending and then just see, well, let me see what the quest of the other ending is. But
Yeah.
if you decide to start the campaign again, you're going to take like really forever to play everything, because like I just heard Alex saying in another stream earlier today, it's over 200 hours of gameplay time in cooperative mode, but that is a modest number, I think. If you consider all the story behind and all the times you have to stop and consider your possibilities and your actions outside of quests, that can go much higher than 300 or 400 hours of gameplay.
Awesome.
Really looking forward to that.
Without repetition. So you could easily spend the rest of your human life on top of your table playing Tanares Adventures.
Yeah, right.
Cool.
If you're bored and let's say you finish all 100 quests with many different possible teams, you can also play the player versus player. You can also play, if you have the Dragon Collection, you can play our new boss versus boss game mode. So the entertainment never stops, and we try to keep faithful to our motto: games for tables, not shelves.
Awesome. I actually did have a quick question about the structure, and I don't know if you can say too much or not yet. So, without trying to spoil too
What do you mean?
much, the first 2 quests of Arena of the Contest, it's always those same first 2, right? Do you guys plan
Yeah,
to have an earlier branch than there was in the original?
definitely. You have 4 different beginnings, and from there you have like it starts to branch out for dozens of possibilities.
All right, awesome.
So you definitely have to start with one of 4 quests. From then on, you can already start doing side quests, and you have multiple possibilities.
Awesome, cool. Well, I'm excited to hear that. Well, we have a couple minutes here, so we're gonna move on to the next section and start playing. We will continue to do some questions throughout the stream. So if the community or anyone wants to ask a question, just throw it in the chat, and we'll from time to time be jumping into that. So we're moving over screens. And Dan, if you don't already have it open, you probably want to open Twitch.
I do have it open. Let me check it out. I'm
All right.
excited to see you guys playing.
All right. You guys see everything? You all good here?
Yep.
All right. Cool. So I'm going to go over some basics of Arena the Contest for everyone before we get started. So, for people that haven't played, Dan briefly mentioned this. There is a campaign mode, a separate PvE, like individual quest mode, and a PvP mode. Today we'll be doing PvP, which is the competitive mode. All of the modes are just amazing and tons of fun to do. If you have, I know that there's been, division I've seen in the community where some people just don't like competitive at all. This is a great game for being able to do cooperative games in like the individual quest or the campaign. But or if you don't really like that aspect as much, there's the PvP, which is actually very detailed and in depth. So you're gonna really enjoy that. So starting out, we'll talk about a little bit the components. You got your game board. This is going to be the PvP match that we have. This is actually a special map. It comes in the board map pack #1. I believe that's correct, right, Dan?
Sorry,
Uh,
I'm
the
just opening up the.
the frost the frost map, I believe, is
Yes, yes.
a map from the board
See it
map
now.
pack #1.
Yes,
So
yes.
if you want to get that one, you'll be able to get it there in the pledge manager. Up here we have all of the heroes. Oh, I guess I should have mentioned real quickly. So we're playing in Tabletop Simulator. This is a mod that was created by a member of the community. And he's done quite a bit of work of putting together all the hero pads and miniatures, and he even added the new reworked model versions. So it's kind of fun to see those new models that are going to be coming. So you'll see we have all of the 7 classes that are a part of it. There is kind of an 8th class, unofficial class, is the special class. And this is all, of course, in reference to the original Arena of the Contest game that we'll be playing as we kind of go along, and maybe Alex allows, maybe we'll see a couple other things. If you guys see my previous streams, we kind of throw in like the Dragon Queen in there and everything. But anyway, so we're going to jump into the different classes. The red class here is called the Brutes. They're kind of like your melee high damage dealing class. All of the heroes in this game, they have their own sets of stats within their class. So all brutes have the same 65 hit points, 8 basic attacks, 6 defense, and 6 movement. And they all share a passive called Brutality, which is when you make a hit on a target that isn't adjacent to any of your allies on the first hit of your turn. That target will take 4 damage. So that's separate from the damage that you'll be dealing with an attack. So what makes each of your characters unique is they all have different sets of 4 skills. Your top set is called primary attacks, and the bottom 2 is called special attacks. You can make primary attacks as many times as you want. A special attack, the only way is you have to have your special ready token available. Once it has been used by either a special attack, heroic action, first aid, or using a flask in the PvE mode, you'll flip this token to the no special side, and then once it alternates heroes, you'll be able to get it back, but you can't use a special until that token's ready for you to use again. So, because of each of these heroes and classes being very different, there's a lot of variation. We're going to do a 3v3 match today, so it's going to be 3 heroes versus 3 heroes. It's 2 separate teams battling it out to the death. So we got the Brutes that we started with. Then we're going to go to the Tacticians. The Tacticians are kind of like your melee supporting type class. They provide some additional damage, but they also do a lot more condition application and effects to enemies, and can help allies as well. Then we got the tanks. They're kind of exactly what you would expect. Your high damage or high defensive characters that can absorb quite a bit of damage and be able to help their allies and keep enemies locked down. We have our healers, which are exactly what you think of as well. They provide support through healing, conditions, and effects, and some of them can resurrect or do massive heals. We have the shooters, which are your ranged heavy damage dealers. They can shoot from 8 squares away and do massive damage to the enemies on the field. But they are one of the little more fragile classes with only 55 hit points and 6 defense and not as much movement. It's a lot easier for them to get potentially locked down by melee characters and not be a little less effective. So you got to be able to play them little better. So for their passive, they have to be able to be at least 5 squares away or more to do 4 additional damage on their attacks. Then we got the controllers. They are the mirrored version of the Tacticians. So instead of melee, they're the ranged version. They provide condition effects to enemies and some allies. So they do some damage as well, but they're more focused around kind of supporting and manipulating the enemy team. And then we have the Bruisers. They are kind of one of the more unique classes. Not exactly what you expect. They are frontline damage dealers, but each of the Bruisers kind of do something a little bit different. Some of them focus more on damage. Some can provide more support, such as Askren here, the Archangel. He can do some healing and support for his team. But they can take a little more of a beating and do some damage on the front line as well. So they're really unique. And then the last is 2 special classes that come in. Let's see. I mean, Huron comes in the Legendary box now, as well as the Faceless Emperor. The Emperor's got a cool Summon Tiger, which is a fun little miniature there that you see on my screen. And so that is all the main classes here of Arena. So I guess we can start kind of going through hero selection, and we'll explain kind of the movement and how to make prime actions as we're going. So the teams that we have decided already is myself and Raymond from Boardgame Heaven here will be on a team. We have already pre-decided that we were going to pick Veneris as our first hero. We'll move him over here. One thing to note for PvP selection is the order that you select your heroes is also the order that they will play. In the quest or PvE mode of the game, it's kind of like you get to choose any of the heroes in any order you want. But once you've selected a hero and you place them down, you will play left to right through those heroes, and then it'll circle back around. So our first pick was Venaris, and the other team will be Codex and Michael from the King of Average.
And so our first pick was Jorana, so we'll be taking her.
All right. Do you want to move it over for him, Code?
Sure.
Is she stuck?
Yeah.
Oh,
I got
wait. Oh, did you get it?
I got it.
Let me make sure You guys should be already promoted, but let me just... You shouldn't have a problem being able to select. All right. So that's your guys' first hero, first hero selection. Our second hero, I'm starting to forget who is one of our other guys. Raymond.
That was Qatar.
Qatar. All right, that's right.
It's boys versus girls over here. It's Qatar, Hokaru, and Vanatus. Not in this order. Vanatus comes before Hokaru. And the girls are Joranna, Juliet first, right? And Joranna, and then Elarini.
You guys,
So first,
you got it?
second pick,
All right.
taking Juliet.
And then ours was Rokaru. Let's put Rokaru actually in the middle here. He'll be our second.
Our third and final is Ellarine, the telepath.
All right. All right. So normally, when you play PvP, we select heroic actions. which are special one-use actions. Each team gets to pick 2 of them, and then you will essentially hold them and secretly be able to use them at almost any point. You have to have your special ready token up, but you can use them on any of your character's turns. So we'll pick our heroic actions. Probably just pick something pretty quick here so we can keep moving along. I already put you guys on a separate team, so if you put the cards into your hand, they'll be secret, and nobody will know what, unless I put it into Code's hand on accident, then he'll see.
It's okay. I'm trying to get to someone's hand here.
To guess how many heroes we'll be able to select once we deliver Tanares Adventures and Dragon Collection and the RPG project.
How many are we gonna have now?
In total, we're gonna have 50 heroes.
Woo!
Oof.
It's already difficult with, I think we got 30 right now, right? So,
Yeah.
a lot there.
We add up the core box, legendary box, Dragon Collection, RPG project, which is going to be released with 4 new heroes. Tanares Adventures. Gonna be 50 total heroes, and one exciting new feature that we're going to add is the hybrid combat role. It was actually a suggestion by the community.
Awesome. Yeah, that'll be pretty interesting. So the hybrid role that Dan's referring to is, say, a class that is part shooter and maybe part controller or something, right?
Yeah, they are simply heroes with stats that belong to one combat role and passive power that belongs to another. Their attacks are a mix of these two. This brings incredibly fun and original strategic considerations to the games, and our playtests so far have shown that this is a great idea that the community brought forward.
All right. So you guys have selected your heroic actions.
I believe so, as long as he's good with those 2.
I like it.
If Raymond, I'm not sure how much you played Tabletop Simulator, but if you look over in my hand over here,
Yeah.
you should be able to see the cards that I picked for us.
Hmm.
All right. So, you normally when you play Arena, you can play with scrolls and artifacts as well. In the interest of time, we're not gonna do those today. They do. It's essentially an advanced way to play the game and bring more strategy and depth to it. So it can really make this game a lot more fun and challenging. But we're not going to do that one today. And there are advanced rules to the game that involve sidestep, reaction attacks, focus, and mobbing. And I think we might skip on that as well, because that might take a little bit longer to explain. But you know, we'll start going through here at the beginning, and we'll kind of see how it goes. So.
As playing 2 ranged, I vote we do not play with reaction.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, so he makes this joke because actually one of the best ways for melee to take advantage of ranged characters is to be able to lock them down in a part of the board, so that way they can't move away as easily, and they may have to take a reaction attack to get away from a melee character. So yeah, that would definitely be something you'd probably like if we skip that part, right?
Yeah, well, that and you can't just doing a ranged attack even will get a reactionary attack.
Yes, that's correct. Okay, so let's roll now. We're going to roll for positions of who actually starts first.
Yeah, you don't want me to roll, even digitally.
I'm pretty bad.
I'm pretty bad too. 6 and 7. All right. We're off to a good start, everyone. So you guys get to place first, or actually, think you get to decide, right?
Yeah, left or right side. I don't know. Do you have a preference?
Let's go with the right side. Well,
That's fine. Yeah, we can do that.
yeah.
Okay. So how it works is Girana will be placed first, and then we will place Venaris next.
See, how close do you think we should start her?
So, and as a clarification, this mark in the center is the center line. So you cannot exceed on this side of the map. You have to stay from that side to the right.
Considering they had to get up and personal with all our characters, I think let them come to us.
Yeah, I just know she can charge forward if needed to.
Right.
One point that I wanted to bring up too, Raymond, you can pick the location for Venaris. So portals, which are these purple marks on the map, in the game they give you the status effect called Blessed, which means you may now make, when you make your attack, you can roll twice and pick the best result. That's only for primary attacks. One of the changes.
Just a quick correction. You call them portals, but they are altars.
Oh, altars.
Actually.
Yes. Yes, thank you.
Altars, yeah.
There are portals, thankfully not on this map.
Yes, not in this map. There's not portals.
Well, you can add portals if you want. There's no problem in adding new
I'm
tiles.
fine
to
with
this
them running across the field.
Yes, you're right. So we chose just a pre-made map with no additions. You do actually have the options in the PvP rule to add, either use a blank map and create your own map, or you could use the pre-made map and add things as you go. But we're gonna just use this pre-made map for here. Yep, we got to place our health tokens as well. Raymond, you want to select the position for Venaris? Put his miniature on the board. So the altars, thanks for correcting me, give you blessed. One of the rule changes that you guys previously have added was that if you make an attack on a altar, that you will take 4 damage, non-lethal damage. Is that right?
Sorry, I was just typing on the chat. I lost you for a second.
Oh,
Talking about
yes.
non-lethal
So I was
damage.
talking about the rule change for altars to
Yes. Yeah.
take 4 damage when you make an attack.
It's not 4. It's 3.
It's 3. Okay.
Yes.
Thanks for correcting me.
So, quick question: are these this rubble here on the map? Is that like spikes?
So
Or
these
impassable?
marks are ruins. Basically, what it means is if Venaris is standing here and he wants to move this direction, every time he enters a ruin tile, he has to have 2 movement. So for him to move to this spot would take him 2, 4, 5 movement.
Difficult terrain, basically.
Yes,
And
exactly.
the fire,
Fire,
they work the same.
fire doesn't impede your movement, but if you step in it, it's 4 damage. Or you get knocked into it, it's 4 damage.
Mhm.
Obviously, for us, it's only these 4 squares, even though sometimes it looks like it might move out a little bit. It's really just these 4 squares.
All right. Well, I do. That's
I think that's pretty
right.
much all. And then, of course,
Lining them
walls.
up.
So there's walls on the map. Line of sight in this game works. You guys get to pop down Juliet, and I can start talking about how line of sight works.
I'll let you place her up with the health.
All right, so line of sight in this game works from corner to corner. So As long as your hero can be able to make a straight line to somebody without hitting a edge of a wall, you can make a attack. Obviously, assuming that you have range as well. So, for example, let's say I'll move her back here. If Juliet was standing back here, she can kind of snipe around this corner. But if, you know, she wouldn't be able to hit somebody that's like right here, for example. All right, so I will place Rokaru. Now you guys get to place Elaraine. It's gonna be Battle of the Melee versus Battle of the Ranged. Okay, and now we gotta place Qatar. Qatar's down. All right, guys. So now we'll be able to start. Since you guys rolled first, you'll be able to make the first play. In this game, you get to make a move action and a prime action. A prime action is being able to make a primary attack, or a special attack, or a basic attack, or a heroic action, or you can also make a double movement, essentially, and be able to use that movement to. So for Drana, for example, she has 6 movement. She could make 12 movement instead, but she wouldn't be able to make any attacks. So you have to move and attack, or attack and then move, but you can't mix the two. Alright, so Code or Michael gets to start first. Thanks for laying out the cards. The hero pads that are listed here have all the abilities, but these cards are also used in the game to designate the abilities as well, and they can also, one of them just fell through the ground, can be overlaid on another hero to track conditions. So, for instance, Katara has an ability called Berserker Strike. What it will do is if he makes his attack, he can make a target exposed. Exposed is a condition that lowers the defense of an enemy temporarily. And what I would do to track that is use that card and lay it over one of the characters that I hit with it to designate that they're exposed. Alright, who's going to play Durana first?
Doesn't matter.
Thinking we want to go maybe towards Rikaru.
Car in a straight line.
Mainly because I don't want to get near the demon guy.
All right, let's go towards Rikaru.
There it is.
So if you want to learn more about the different classes and the heroes that exist in those classes, I have a series of videos going on right now called Hero Spotlights. We've already covered the brutes, tacticians, and the healers. There's quite a bit of information in each of those. All right, is that 6?
So originally I would bet on the victory of the boys because I personally tend to overestimate the ability to move your enemies around. Since this is quite an open field with not too many walls and lava, I'm gonna bet on the girls.
I think I'm going to start off with a special.
Ah,
Lightning,
Wow.
lightning reflexes.
all right.
Yes.
Flip that special token, and then he will make his attack. So his attack, he has to exceed the defense, or he has to be equal to, at least, or exceed the defense of Rikaru, which is 7. So he needs a 7 or more. He got a 3.
That's not how it's done.
All right.
And
So
here we go.
the nice thing in Arena is even if you miss an attack, you still have residual damage. So if you look at the Lightning Reflexes card, you'll see that the miss is that the target takes 15 residual damage. Residual damage cannot kill a target. It can only do just that damage. So Rikaru takes 15, which puts him down at 45. And now that Jirana has made her attack and move, she is now finished. It's now Venaris' turn. You want to play Venaris, Raymond?
Yes, let's go. I thought let's just get in there. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't even have to be.
So we'll talk about one little thing here. If you cut the corner of a hazardous tile, it's essentially like being slowed down by it.
Okay. Well, I only need to get to here.
Okay.
Because I do have a reach skill, Blades of Agony.
Range 2.
You exactly. So Blades of Agony is 2 squares, does 11 damage, and has some effects, but there aren't any enemies within 5 squares right now. But I can actually swap targets, swap places with my target if I wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
But let's just see if that works. So roll the die.
Got it.
11.
So that exceeds Jirana's defensive 8. So now Jirana will take 11 damage.
Mhm.
One thing to note about Venaris' passive ability, tanks and bruisers have circles instead of the passives that are used by the other classes, which are slightly different. They're actually triggered on enemies' turns rather than their own. All right, so he did 11 damage. He doesn't get to do the first effect, and the second is he may swap places with the target. Would you like to swap places?
I was just going to ask you if that would be
sure.
in. Just place her behind the enemy lines a bit, you know?
There you go. Jirana's getting into the battle thinking she's got this, but maybe she doesn't.
All right. Well, it won't always be 2 versus 1.
All right.
I think
moving on.
I think we need to move Julia because she can bless herself, so she doesn't even need the altar.
That's correct.
So why don't we just move her there, and then we can snipe Venaris with Icy Wind. Do we just want to do damage, or
Icy Wind has a benefit that will allow him to be blessed on his attack. So he does, like he said, doesn't have to be on the altar. All right, roll it. You're attacking Venaris, you said?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hit R.
5.
5.
Still,
Venaris has 7 defense. That's a miss.
Oh boy.
Yep.
All right, so that's okay. Your primary attack still gives you 5. Oh yeah, you're blessed, so you get to roll again.
All right, yes.
20.
Yeah.
That is a crit. That means in
They get to
addition
play the roll.
to the 11 damage, you also do 5 on top of that. But you do not get the effect, which is if both of your rolls hit, the target takes +3 damage.
I'll take the +5. That's okay.
Yeah. Oh, only that.
But also additional 4 for accuracy. So it's passive.
Yes, that's right. So
Yes.
thank you for pointing that out. Passives sometimes can get forgotten, but Code, he's played this a while, so that 16 damage now turns into 20 damage.
Whew.
So that is a massive hit against Venaris.
Yep. Venaris is not pleased.
And it could be 23 damage. Shooters
Could have been.
not be underestimated.
And that was just a normal attack. Not a basic.
So it's
All right,
Rakaru's
so
turn.
now
All right,
it
that's
is
us.
Rakaru's turn. Trying to see, what does Rakaru want to do? They're already down some health, but so we don't have reaction attacks in this one, so we can freely move away from Jirana. So I will do. I'm gonna make my movement first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm now going to do Dragon Spirit on Juliet. Which
Is
is my special attack.
diagonal adjacent,
Yes.
so you get a -2 penalty to this.
For
So you started
what?
adjacent to us.
Yes, that is correct. Yeah, so what you're pointing out is Circle of Protection, which is exactly like Michael was pointing out. I start adjacent to Jirana, so I get a -2 to my penalty, and I will take 4 damage. I'm going to roll my attack, and someone can do the damage for me on Rakaru. Alright, 18, so that is a hit. That's going to be 25 damage to Juliet. She at 10, 25. And then Dragon Spirit he gets the permanent effect. He can't use his passive power, but on the first hit of his turn, a combatant within 8 squares of you takes 4 damage or regains 4 hit points. Gives him a little versatility. I do not get to trigger tactics because I was not adjacent to one of my allies. The target wasn't adjacent to one of my allies.
That will be particularly helpful in this 3 versus 3 match because it will have fewer opportunities to be attacking an enemy that is adjacent to one of your allies.
That's exactly why I picked Rakaru out of the Tacticians. Alright, so now we have Elarain's turn. She is a controller, and she is a pretty unique hero where she gets to control allies and enemies depending on which ability she's using.
So, thinking.
Also to note is now that Juliet could not make a special attack, the special token has now moved to Elarain, where she can make an attack.
One, 2, 3. I think she's going to do Puppet Dance on Rikaru.
Nice.
So she's going to get a +2 to her roll. Only a 3. So, oh my god.
You guys are on a roll today.
Does he still get to roll twice for the blessed? Because he's on the altar?
Yes.
Yes, that's right.
That was actually fortunate because I was pretty sure you were going to make a special attack. Since your team token is special already,
Yeah,
you
and that
could
would have been a
maybe
bummer.
still choose
Oh,
special attacks,
lost the
one
dice.
from Vanados and the other from Ricardo. So it was good that you decided to make a primary.
Did you drop the dice?
Should just press
Yeah.
R.
Go back. Yeah.
Yeah, probably R is better.
He gave me a 20. Gave you a 19.
Ah,
Okay.
All right.
I think that's a 61, actually.
So I think we're gonna play with the altar rules.
Okay.
So 3 damage.
Sure.
1, 2, 3. All right, and then the
That'll hurt them
attack
more.
is hit, so it's 0 damage. But now you may move that target, which is Rukaru, up to 2 squares, then make a primary attack.
He's going to do Ancestral Katana.
I like it.
So I got to roll again.
It's a hit.
Very nice.
All right, so Venaris takes 11 damage.
Yeah, if we can take him out, that'll weaken them a lot.
Yeah.
Yes, Venaris is a very strong hero.
It was a good example where you take just 3 damage gladly, right, from the altar.
That's a good trade.
It's a very good trade.
All right, so now it is Qatar's turn, and he doesn't have a special, so he is pretty far out of the fight right now. So for him to kind of get in there, he needs to be able to do a double movement. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So Qatar will not be able to make an attack this time, but now he's definitely into the fight.
you were
Perfect
over-
range. I like it.
So I guess our turn.
Toronto's turn.
Since I did Ellerine, I'll let you do it.
Yeah. Just trying to decide.
Do we pick on the weakest one?
Yeah, right. That would be nice, though. Again, we'd have to get close to him, which I don't like either. For all, but yeah. So we could go and get him or Karu. I'm fine with either one.
Hey Dan, while they're thinking it out, do you want to go over one of the other questions?
Sure, I'm at your disposal. Please ask away.
Sure. So let's see. Is there any? Oh no, okay. So previously in the last campaign, Dragori asked for hero submissions during the Tanares Adventures campaign. Were there any heroes or abilities that were incorporated into the game? And also, will any of these heroes or other references from the community be in the RPG book or Tanares Adventures?
Well, the process of creating heroes for our games is incredibly complex. When you take into account Arena the Contest's core box, Legendary box, the Dragon Collection, Tanares Adventures, now the RPG project, like I said earlier, there are a total of 50 heroes, which means literally millions of possible combos, team builds. And to make things worse, you can play these heroes in player versus player, boss versus boss, cooperative mode. So no, I cannot say that any specific attack or ability or hero created by the community during the Kickstarter was perfectly transcribed into something you can recognize in our new projects. However, there is one major, and I mean major new feature about heroes that was a community idea, and I already talked about it. It's an incredibly fun one for that matter. That is the hybrid combat role, which I already talked a little bit about.
Cool.
And in the chat, one of the guys asked about the combat roles of these 4 new classes. It's expressions that maybe get confused, but what I mean is there will be one hero from Arena to represent each of the 4 new classes that we will bring for the 5th edition. But there are not 4 new classes. It's 4 new hybrid combat roles. Their combination is, let me check over here. The new class Dragonblade will be represented by Gaknak, which is a hybrid of brute and tank. There will be Villani, an elementalist. The new class is elementalist, but the combat roles will be a hybrid of shooter and controller. There is a new class called Redeemer, and it will be in Arena, a mixture of controller and healer. And finally, there will be the Ahmed Walker, which will be a combination of brute and tactician.
All right.
So I think that this was the major contribution from the community, an idea that we fell in love with.
Should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, that'll be cool. So I noticed that we forgot to make the basic attack after all turns and
So-
Sheila's.
I believe you guys missed lightning reflex, right?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, so we don't get that.
In this game, when you miss that, your special attack will then be used.
Oh, was it missed? Oh, okay.
Yeah, and special attacks are a single use type of ability, and they don't come back unless you
Right.
have another character that brings them back, or
I'm going to
you have
do
a card.
Whirling Strike against both of them.
Alright. Yeah, that's a perfect move for that.
Not if I roll 4.
Oh,
You rolled. So who was the first target? I'm sorry. I think I might have missed that.
Oh, I was going to do the just left to right.
Okay, so Venaris first. So the attack is missed for Venaris. So now you got to roll again against Rikaru.
Hang on a second. You're the
oh man.
And you double missed.
I did 10 damage. I didn't miss.
Well, you got
You-
5 residual damage. So Whirling Strike, when you miss all of the targets, the last target that's missed takes 5 residual.
I did 5 damage.
Yeah, so you did 5 damage to Rikaru.
Yes. It's
And-
payback for my 20, I guess.
Jirana also takes 4 damage because you're inside Venaris' circle of retribution.
So
That's if I
Venaris
start
is
right.
yes, that's right. So you were included as a target of the attack. So Jirana does take 4 damage. So she is now at
Why am I taking 4
55.
damage?
So Venaris's ability, Circle of Retribution.
So if I didn't start my turn.
Were you adjacent?
No, I moved.
Oh, okay. Well, but I mean,
Oh,
did you
wait.
start adjacent?
No, I moved 3 spaces, so I was right here.
Okay. All right. Yes, that's correct. You have to be adjacent at the start of the turn.
And then attacks. Well, yeah, but you moved into range. That's correct. Sorry.
All right. So you
You'll
guys
give me
already
an
did
account,
Rikaru? Alright. So Venaris is up. So you get to play that one, Raymond.
Yep. Well, let's see.
This might be a
Right
good
next
one
to
for I mean, there's a lot of options good for this. Blades of
Yeah, I
Agony
think
would be good, Soul Corruption.
exactly. I'm thinking about Soul Corruption because let's see, Joranna is currently at where there are two. Trying to find out how many hit points she is currently. Can't find
Oh,
her on the
she's
track.
still she's over here. She's at 59, so she's got quite a bit still. But since you are adjacent to her, there is an advantage to just attack her. Otherwise, you'll get, if you try to attack somebody else, you'll get her circle of protection used against you. So,
Yeah, I was
Just do
gonna
what a
attack
tank
her.
does.
yeah, he's tanking it up. He's doing a good job.
Could use the Dance of the Damned, and I could move her 5, only 1 square each. It's one
Yeah.
within 5 squares. That's not a whole.
I think you'll get more
Yeah,
use out of Blades of Agony or Soul Corruption on this one.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go for Soul Corruption.
All right.
So I'm just gonna go for it.
So we flip the
I hit
special
that.
token, and then now he's going to roll against Joranna. She has 8 defense.
Yeah. Here we go. Oh,
20!
critical.
Oh boy.
Oh, man. All right.
That's 25 damage,
I'm just
and
glad it was
because
against
it's
her.
Yeah, so now that turns into 30 damage
30.
against Joranna. So she's going to be hurting here. She is down at
So in
29.
summary, this game is either critical hits or missed attacks, right?
Yep, that sounds about right.
So I'm gonna put that stat on her for now because she gains the permanent effect that she can't regain hit points.
So you actually get to choose.
Or yeah, because within 5 squares, 1, 2, 3,
Yep,
4.
so it could be Juliet.
Actually, I didn't see that she was so close. I'm gonna put it on Juliet.
All right. So now, yep.
No,
Now our
before you
healer
begin,
can't heal.
Oh, wait.
Yes, indeed. So that's the token flipped. Now I could still move. Let's see. So does Joranna have the no effects when I move out of her?
Nope. You can freely move.
Zero.
We're playing with without reaction attacks.
Oh, all right. Okay.
So for viewers that don't know, there's an advanced set of rules that makes it a little more challenging to get out of the fight if you're next to another character. So normally Venaris would need to make a sidestep to not incite reaction attack from Joranna. So in this case, we don't have to worry about that because we're not playing with those rules.
I'm just gonna move, stay out of range of Ellarine.
There you go.
I think I'll move here for now, so I could later hit, if she doesn't move, of course, Juliet with the 2 squares attack. Right, the wall doesn't. Yeah, because I can still draw a line of sight. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, I'll place him over there.
All right, cool. Great move. So now it is Juliet's turn.
So, are you wanting to do 26 damage to someone?
Yes. Exactly what I'm thinking. I'm thinking we want to get her out of this pile up that's ready to happen.
Yeah, we can just move her away, and then.
Yeah.
Are we gonna snipe their weakest still? We're gonna try and get him down.
He still's got one more special.
Choices.
Well, yeah, his other special is gonna be coming into play with their characters getting low, which is an instant kill.
Well, we can always ruin that with
True.
Alarin if we don't use their special then.
I think we want to use Juliet's special. I think we do. I think we want to hit him hard right now. Because Ellarine's primaries are pretty good. But
And if we play our cards right, we might be able to do both well.
yeah, right. So Juliet's got a movement of 5, so
She can definitely get that +4 damage easy.
right. Let's 1, 2, 3.
You may as well get
4.
behind the rubble.
Yeah, maybe 5. I think that's a good spot. And I think we're gonna use our special, Frost Hurricane. And let's do it on Varan. I always butcher his name. Varanus.
I call him the demon dude.
The demon dude. Let's attack the demon dude.
All right, so make your attack.
I'm assuming you're hit. So
Oh.
No.
You guys can't see Code's face right now, but I'm seeing him in webcam, and it's a lot of hurt.
Oh,
All right.
poor Code.
So Frost Hurricane will be used. So that's 15 damage to Venaris.
Hey, that was 3 times the damage my miss did.
That should put him down to what?
That makes me feel a little better.
2 targets.
So 15.
Should be into 19, I think. He's getting in the danger zone now.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. The danger zone.
The danger zone.
That's okay. Juliet still has a good move. We'll want to use that before we kill anybody if we can. This is that multiple targeted thing.
You're right.
All right. So now it is Rikaru's turn. And I think I see the perfect move for it. So, Rikaru is going to use Tide of Blades against Jirana. 13, that's a hit.
Nice.
So he's going to do 11 damage. He doesn't get the... Well, so his passive has been converted, actually. So he could do additional damage or heal. Let's go with... Let's go with the heal. So we're going to get a heal of 4 to Venaris. And then Rikaru does 11 damage to Jirana. Jirana gets moved 2 squares. She gets moved here. And then she will do all enemies now adjacent to the target take 3 damage each. So now Juliet takes 3 damage. Did you guys move Jirana yet?
I did not move Jirana. I just moved Juliet.
Okay. So I think she's 18. All right. Now we are up to Ellarine's turn. The controller. No special up though.
So what are you thinking with this one?
It'd be kind of nice to move the brute, and then he also does quite a bit of damage anyway.
Right. I'm trying to see what the brute can do.
Do 13. And make him exposed.
I don't think I can get him into range, though. Can you? Target up to 2 squares only.
Oh, huh. Okay, yeah, I'll have to be one of the other 2 then.
Yeah, so we're gonna probably have to move her. Because of the wall in the way.
If you're able to do Tide of Blades, you can do 11 plus 3. Assuming the word enemy changes when you're controlling them.
I think, yes.
Or doesn't change, I guess I should say.
Yeah,
No, Blades of Agony would do more. 5 damage plus 4.
Agony.
As to answer your question, your reference of allies and enemies change when you are controlling a combatant.
Gotcha.
So
You can even mob with you can if there's one of your allies adjacent to the target that you are targeting with the enemy that you are controlling, the enemy is considered exposed. So you can mob or even
So in this
take
case, when it
other.
says another enemy within 5 squares takes 4 damage, that enemy would still be one of us?
Yes.
Okay, well, neither of those help then. You don't want to do those. Dance of the Damned, the target is weakened.
Dance. Damn.
And then you can move somebody as well, so.
It's exactly as if it became one of your allies for this turn. So all enemies are considered allies and all allies are considered enemies.
Okay, so it would be our enemy then. If he's considered one of us. Well, I'll let you choose. Looks like they got a lot of debuffs and damage.
I'm wondering maybe doing Mind Link.
So while you guys are still figuring it out, I have invited, I believe his name's Francois. I'm not positive. Let's see. I think he's getting on here. I think he got messed up on the time zones.
Because then you could do the 7 damage plus basic, right?
Yeah, with Juliet. Because she's ranged, so.
You can also move 2 squares, which is nice, regardless of movement. So if you wanted to move her into the rubble, you could.
Yeah. So I think I'm gonna have to move her 1, 2, 6, 7, 8. So. Yeah, that should be far enough for Juliet if I just move her 1. But I still need to move her up to. I gotta put her in a dangerous spot.
Joranna's task is tough this game because she's the only thing in between 3 melee enemies and her allies, her Juliet and Elarini. And all 3 of them can move Joranna around, so the task is not an easy one.
So I'm going. Who should I Mind Link? Let's.
Veneris does more basic attack.
Yeah, let's Mind Link the Demon Man.
We're swapping rolls again, huh? There we go.
13. So he takes 7. Then move Juliet. And then do a basic attack against him.
Roll it, buddy. 18.
Nice.
That's a hit.
Another 8.
One note about basic attacks is you use just the base value. You get a bonus of 1 to your roll. So for example, you got 18, so really this would be like a 19. You have to get natural
Yeah, can't be artificial.
to get crits. So even if he rolled a 19, he wouldn't be able to get a crit on that. All right, so did you
I'll take
guys
7
move
plus
his
8
health?
damage. We didn't move his 8 damage. No.
And then I get our passive Despair.
That's right.
So
Another
let's
enemy
hit.
within 5 squares takes 4 damage.
Let's hit Rikaru. Since
Yeah.
he's
Just pick on him.
Yeah. So he takes 4.
All right.
This is getting
You
perfect.
guys finish?
Yep.
All right. So
Ouch time.
I am now going to go ham on you guys. Qatar is going to move. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
He doesn't have to go there. You can move him anywhere you want.
He can go wherever he wants. You know, he feels like going here. And Qatar is going to do Whirlwind. So Qatar is going to do Whirlwind. He may move up to 5 squares, and meanwhile he can strike each target at any time. He's going to make his first strike against Juliet. This is up to 2 enemies. That's a 14. That is a hit. Because it's his first, it's 22 damage to Juliet.
Ow.
So you guys do that one. And then now his second strike will be against Joanna. And if it hits, it will kill her. And it does. And now he can, he can move pretty much anywhere he wants, but I think he's already having fun here, just being on top of Juliet and smashing her face in, so. Alright, we got 1 down.
That's perfect. I wanted to use Blizzard anyway, so appreciate you skipping to that. All right, so if you want to kill people, that's fine. I can do that too.
All right.
Rolls, depending on rolls. All right, so we're gonna do Blizzard, up to 3 enemies. Get to roll and then freely divide the 25 damage as I see fit.
You might have to move first because you're right next to a.
So yeah, so
Yeah, there's
normally.
Oh, we're not doing. Yeah.
Yeah, normally the rules.
Otherwise, I would have had a sidestep.
Keep forgetting.
Yeah,
that we're not
he
playing.
would need to sidestep. Actually, the play that I just made, and this is kind of me just like. We normally play with the advanced rules, so sometimes when I play the game, I just always assume that because this would actually be a really like pretty good move where she's kind of jammed in a little bit.
Oh, definitely. Okay, well, let's roll and see what happens.
All right, go for it. So it looks like Francois, is that your name? I'm sorry.
Yes, you hear me? Do you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, hello. Hello, everybody. Sorry to be late, but I didn't know it was 1 hour
The time
sooner.
zones and all that can be definitely very confusing.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Oh,
Sorry.
nice to meet you, Francois. It's good to have you here. For a moment, I
Yes,
didn't think you were gonna come, but I'm very happy that you managed to arrive before the end of the stream.
Yes, sorry. Sorry for the delay.
Oh, no problem at all. If you wanna chat a little bit with me while we are here, you guys are just playing the game. If you wanna join in, also feel welcome to.
Yeah, I'm sure we can fit him in.
Okay, now let's continue your play. I will not join because I don't know the rules, but if it would be great if you can explain me what you are doing.
Yeah.
So that I can
Sure.
understand.
So I just spawned a blizzard with this whole area, and I get to assign 25 damage as I see fit. Up to 3 targets, and it's 3 versus 3, so I'm attacking everyone pretty much if I want to. So first is going to be 8 to that chump.
You made was this 18 your roll?
Yes.
Okay. right, cool.
It's boys versus girls here, and Jorana is already dead because they're actually. I was going to comment on that. Your course of action was very optimal. I would say you didn't waste a single point of damage on Jorana, right?
Yeah.
She had 18 HP, and you
exact.
dealt exactly 18 damage. to her.
Perfectly dead. All right, and then we're going
Yeah,
to
so-
assign the other 17 damage, 18 damage. So what is it?
You
How much
have
did 8 damage just
made
now.
8 damage. Yep. So you should have 17 to
So
use.
17 damage is going towards the ninja, the samurai. Rikaru.
So Francois, this is a game of I would like to call it a game of manipulation of odds, right?
Okay.
Like poker, where you, in the long term, in the long run, the sum of your small micro decisions that influence the result of your roll, for better or for worse, end up being the edge you need to win the game. Because it has a very simple mechanism in which you roll the die and you compare the result of the roll to the target's defense.
Mm-hmm.
And if you match it or exceed it, your attack hits. There are many things that you can do to manipulate the result of your roll, like stepping on an altar, mobbing an enemy, which is like flanking. You can trigger your passive power or not, which is also something that will help you get further ahead on the HP track, even though this is not something that you can manipulate on your roll. It's something that you can manipulate if you hit. Some attacks there that have advantage on the roll, but they deal less damage. So you have to make some interesting decisions on whether you're going to make a special attack, a primary attack that has more chance of succeeding. If you're going to expose yourself stepping on an altar to increase your odds of hitting your primary attack. If you're going to, for example, here, the three boys have a little bit of an advantage in the sense of they are melee characters, so they can mob enemies more easily. They can, if two allies are adjacent to the same enemy, attacks of these allies will often have a more chance to succeed because the target will be considered exposed, and thus his defense will be 3 points lower. You have more chance of succeeding in your row. So all of these elements combined, if you consider that they influence the efficacy of each of your attacks, at the end of the game, in the long run, this manipulation of your odds and of your enemy's odds will end up determining who is the victorious team.
Okay.
All right. So it is Rikaru's turn.
Well, the only thing we didn't do is assign the 4 damage from accuracy.
You're right. So, well, the first one you did, your attack
would've
against was Vanaris.
I would have done 4, and then because I assigned damage, I would have just assigned the other 4.
You would have assigned more to somebody else.
Do you want to move at all or no?
What?
Did you want to move the Juliet at all?
Oh, for moving.
Because Ricard does have a...
Yeah. Target isn't adjacent to any of your allies. Should be her. You can always move adjacent to a Karu.
Because she's low. She's only at 5. Juliet.
So taking a look at over here at the position on the board, I'd say that the girls are in a bit of a disadvantage because they lost their primary line of defense in Jorana. Qatar is already adjacent to Juliet, which means he will trigger his passive power and he deals much more damage. Hokaru is next to the action, so he can also come by and mob her, and she's already at low HP, at 5 HP. Then Elarini will be left by herself, even though she has quite a lot of HP. She is quite close to her enemies, and they will come sprinting after they're done with Juliet. However, there are still some elements of the game that could change things around. I don't know if you picked heroic actions to play in this game, but at any time, one of the teams could play a heroic action, which requires no roll to be successful. It's a very special action that you can make only twice in the match, one for each heroic action card. And they can, for example, revive Joranna. One of the heroic actions is special like that. Or they can simply deal all at once 20 damage to Hokaru, who is with 16 HP, and immediately kill him, turning the tables around. So that is also an element. And the enemies don't know what you have. The enemies don't know what your heroic actions are. So there's always an element of bluffing and some suspense in what could happen in the game.
Yeah, for sure.
So
All
is
right,
that
so
your final move?
it's done.
Okay. So now it's Rokaru's turn. He has a couple options here. Now, I'm going to leave it up to Raymond here to decide. We could potentially go after Juliet, finish her off, or we could essentially try to damage Elleraine some. Try to
she is
negate some of her
close.
damage.
How far can we? Got 6 movement.
Yeah, so we'd be able to get Juliet. We could stand here and do a range 2 attack of Ancestral Katana and kill her.
Because the Dragon Spirit was already.
It's a 2 against 2.
Yes.
Right now, yes. So yeah, that would be the Ancestral Katana, which deals 11 damage, which is
Definitely would kill her.
I say go for it.
If you hit
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Rokaru is going to make his Ancestral Katana against Juliet. Here we go, people. For the kill.
If we miss, actually,
Boom. That's enough.
But if we miss, we do 5 residual damage, which is also enough.
So 5 residual damage would actually put her at 1 health because residual damage cannot do lethal damage.
That is correct. That is.
So, so in this case, Juliet has died. We don't need to worry about the effect because she's already dead. But we do get to trigger Dragon Spirit, and we're going to use. I believe he can't do it for himself. I think it's for. Wait, no. It says a combatant within 8 squares of you. So I think he can't. Can he use this heal on himself, Dan? You want to clarify that one?
Is he within 8 squares of himself?
Well, it says a combatant. So
yeah.
Usually if it only affects somebody else, they say an ally.
I think it's combatant. Because
yes, it's combatant because it means it could be either an ally or an enemy because you could deal damage or regain HP, but this cannot be yourself.
Yeah, makes sense.
Okay. All right, so we will go with the
because
damage.
This is actually answered by the complement of the sentence when it says a combatant within 8 squares of you. So you do not count over here.
All right. So
and just another clarification. Just another clarification about the rules. Suppose that Elarini was really close to Juliet there, and you were striking her with Tide of Blades. The death only happens.
I actually was going to bring that up.
After the entire attack. So you could, for example, move the target even at 0 HP. It is only considered dead when the attack resolves, when the attack ends.
Yeah,
So
actually,
you
I,
could
I
apply
was
to.
gonna make that play when it looked like he was gonna stand right next to me. That I was gonna do Tides of Blades, then move his body over
Dead body
to
over.
yeah,
Explode
move it over to attack Elleraine. But you
It is
guys didn't
actually
go for it.
curiously, that's actually the very example that we use in the rule book. It's this Tide of Blades attack by Rokaro when we explain the rules about death.
Real original strategy.
All right, so
Okay,
now
so
it's
now it is-
Elleraine's turn.
I'm thinking she wants to do a heroic action.
We don't have a special yet.
Specials down.
Oh gosh.
I think we just want to punch for 7 damage and then run away. Or
I like it.
So, for the viewers, Elleraine is a little bit more, since she is a controller, but more so for this character, she's a little bit more of a team player than she is a solo character. So this kind of does put her in a little more challenging position because she essentially can't use Mind Link right now.
She could use puppet dance and make one of us
Yep.
attack the other.
Just
We can
want,
attack each other, but we can't. She can't.
We could just
use
move
that
him
one.
farther away, but I think we're good. Far away is it? 1, 2, 3. Yeah, we could move him where he couldn't attack. Because we can move him 2 away. In fact, it's spaces, right? Yeah, the rebels. So if we did puppet dance, you'd essentially be free of an attack until you activate again, because we'll activate every other turn now.
yeah, so let's puppet dance Qatar, move him out of the way, and then you despair on Rokaro and then make her run away.
One common misjudgment many people make is that they see that one team has more live heroes than the other, and immediately they think they have the advantage. But the fact is, teams always alternate turns. So what will happen here is that for every turn of Qatar, Larini will act twice. So in this case, she will puppet dance one of her enemies, and she will make one attack the other.
Yeah, and she's got lots of health left, so this ain't over.
It's not over at all.
Yeah, you can go and do it.
So we're gonna do puppet dance on, I guess, Qatar.
Okay. It's a
14.
hit. 0 damage, and then you may move the target up to 2 squares, and then controlled by you make its primary attack.
So does that? And you're gonna do despair afterwards.
Yeah.
Don't forget the passive power, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
To deal 4 damage to the other.
Yeah, so Rokaro will take 4 damage from despair.
Gotcha.
Which way do we want to move them?
Farther
This
away.
4 damage.
You can start taking
This 4
some
damage
fire.
from her passive power. This 4 damage from her passive power shall be enough to kill.
Let's move them one.
Yeah.
Kill Hokage.
And then the despair on Rokaro.
Yeah, I already did this damage.
And then we're gonna move her further out.
There you go. Now they're playing pretty smart here.
Yeah, we decided to start doing that.
We want to keep a little handicap.
Yeah, thanks guys. Thanks for making it easy on us.
No problem. All those rolled ones, those were actually.
It was just to fake us out, right?
That's right. That's right.
Just to show that you're always in the game.
Yeah.
And I think that's it.
All right. Well, it's our turn, and you have put Qatar in a bit of a pickle because he cannot get close enough to make any of his attacks, but he does have his special token up. So therefore, he will use Heroic Magic, his heroic action ability, an enemy takes 10 damage. That will be Elaraine. And then we will choose to. How about choose to revive an ally? So we're going to bring back Venaris. And he will be revived within 5 squares of Qatar with 10 health. So you may not want to get too close because you may get one shot, but
It's actually not that bad for Ilarini because the more enemies she has around, the more she can trigger her passive power and make you attack one another. For puppet dance.
Yeah, he was our favorite puppet.
You sure
We
was.
were sad when our toy left.
Well, I could put him, as far as possible from my Qatar, but I kind of want to get him in there and use some special. But he
Yeah.
is a
well,
very.
so one thing to note is since Venaris has already died,
You'll have
you
no
lose
special
both
attacks.
of your specials
All right, yeah.
when you
There
die.
there
So
is
he won't be
one
able.
res that allows you to keep one, right?
Yes, that's right. And there is other heroes. For instance, the controller Zafara. She has a resurrection skill that gives you back one of your specials.
All right, so where to put Venaris?
Did you guys move Elarain's health? I'm sorry, I might have missed.
Yeah,
that.
I did. I moved
Okay,
it to him.
thank you.
Is Qatar at 65?
Yeah.
Yes, he's at
he's
full
never
health.
been hit.
Oh boy.
So yeah,
Oh,
tell me.
it would
Yeah.
be incredibly interesting if Ilarini won this match.
You
Do
probably
you have
want
any of
to
your special
move
That
him
way,
further
right?
attacks
away from
available?
Elaraine,
1, 2, 3, 5. Further away from my own. Okay,
but
sure.
not too close to any of our own guys.
Could go here.
And you can go up to 5 away
5, right?
Yeah.
from
So,
Qatar.
So you could go here, but that's too far. Or is it 5? Not. Oh yeah, it wouldn't be including.
This is not line of sight.
Does that matter? Line of sight when placing someone back?
For this ability, I don't think so because it says ignores vision and range, but maybe Dan wants to clarify that one.
It ignores vision and range, no problem, but you have to still follow the text of the effect, which says that you can revive within 5 squares of you.
Yeah.
But the squares don't have to be movable.
But it doesn't have to be in vision of.
No, it does not, but you were not at 5 squares distance, right? You're at
3,
6
4. No, he's
or
at 5.
1.
Yes, it's fine.
Only if you count.
Oh, I
2,
counted
3,
wrong.
4,
Yes, you're
5.
yeah.
All right.
You could also just stand right behind the wall too, because she's not gonna be able to hit you from there.
You know what? That's probably very sound advice.
Yeah. There you go.
And it does bring me a little bit closer if I manage to somehow.
All right. So now that Qatar has done his prime action, he now can make a movement. 1, 2, 3. Let me wait. I was right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Lazarini has a very strong special action in her hand.
She does.
I'm guessing.
So since
Zaragoza South.
Qatar was the last one to go, Venaris will be the first one for our team the next time.
Now, an interesting strategy here would be to not kill Vanaros and Hokaru, because the character that deals most damage for the boys is Qatar, and you want to delay as much as possible his turn from coming up. So the primary strategy here would be to make his allies attack him over and over and drop his HP, and then while you trigger your passive power and take Vanados and Hokaru even closer to death.
Okay. Nice strategy.
So, You wanting to use a heroic action, or
I think it's time to use a heroic action.
you don't have an option to use one?
I think it's time to use it. Kind of in a pickle.
And go for it.
All right, so I think
Pick.
this is the one. I think we're gonna do heroic action, heroic revival.
Had a feeling you guys had that one.
So we're gonna revive one of our dead allies and put it 5 squares with 22 HP and no special attacks. Do you have a preference of which one we want to revive?
22 HP is nice. However, that's still fairly damaged. So I guess it just kind of...
You have an interesting decision here because Juliet deals more damage with her primary attacks.
Mhm.
However, she's more fragile. She's got 2 fewer defense points than Joranna. And if you want to delay as much as possible the game so you can make your enemies attack each other with Elarini, you could also make an argument of reviving Joranna so she dies slower.
Yeah, she could also be toughened if we did it right.
You can also protect Elarini with Joranna's Circle. This is stimulating your enemies from attacking Elarini.
Though, I don't know. I mean, it's rough. I'll let you pick. That was my fault when it's wrong.
That's the spirit.
I'm gonna go with. I want the damage, but I think I want Joranna for defense because.
I feel like she'd at least survive one more turn.
Right.
Than Juliet would.
Right. And I think we could hopefully put enough defense up to knock out another character. So let's go with Joranna. And if I'm wrong, you can blame me.
It's all right. I like that. All right. So now we just need to pick where to spawn her.
There's another thing that you could consider, that is the opposing team is very aware of the fact that Elarini can make one ally attack the other, and they are keeping their distance between themselves, and they are all short ranged. So one could make an argument that with an ally of hers alive, you would want to make the attack Mind Link, which allows you to have an ally within range.
Dan's giving away all the answers.
Yeah, I was thinking that, but I'm afraid.
So if you revived Juliet, she deals 2 more damage in her basic attack, and her basic attack is ranged, while Joranna's is melee.
This is why you don't make.
It's a really tough choice.
Okay, so while everybody else looks to how to mute Dan, are we making the right choice?
Are you reviving Joranna?
Yeah, I'll just throw in my opinion since I've played this game quite a bit. The second option that Dan brought up with Juliet. So our team is very limited because of no ranged ability, and because, like Dan mentioned, you guys have the ability with Elleraine to move our characters around and either use them against us or use your own characters against us. You have more advantage by having Juliet with her range. You just have to position her well. You'll gain more of a benefit by having Juliet than Joranna, in my opinion. Don't want to make it, too hard on you guys.
I think both you and Dan sold me on the idea. I was thinking about it the whole time. I'm like, but
I thought of it before they even mentioned it, but I didn't want to choose for you. I wanted you to be able to.
Don't make me make the decisions. We'll lose with my bad rolls, isn't this?
Yeah, that's right. All this really matters on the rolls anyway.
And hey, we're just here for fun anyway. This is obviously not game changing match here.
This has been.
We probably got about I think another 15 minutes of gameplay before we're gonna go to the last segment I want to cover.
All right, so where are we putting her? Ideally, who's going next?
Recaro, sadly.
No, Venaris.
Oh, Nars.
So we're pretty safe until she acts again. So if you want to...
You want to throw her on the altar even?
I can. Again, if we need to, she can just get blessed on her own.
That's true. Because
Actually, that's her highest damage dealing one because of the bonus damage of both hit.
That has the potential of taking out Recaro next turn.
5 squares. So you just want to put her like...
Now, an interesting thing is that if you kill Hokaru fast,
I agree with that.
the other two enemies are quite close to, quite far from you, so you will be able to hit them, hit Qatar at least twice before he gets you, depending on your positioning.
Where's that mute button?
Hey, now in that case, we were already thinking of attack. All right, that's it. Unless, did you move? Already? I forgot if you moved before or not.
I didn't move, but I think we're gonna leave her there.
Cool.
Are you making Icy Wind?
It was Elarain's turn.
Oh yeah, you're right. So all right, so she's been placed on the board. So now it's Venaris' turn, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Where is Juliet? I can see her.
She's right here.
Oh, another thing that you could have considered, another thing that you could have considered is that she could maybe focus. Let me see.
So
if
focus is
we weren't doing that, right?
Advanced rule.
Yeah.
There's a rule that says that if you forfeit your move action, which is something that you will likely do, depending on how far you are, and if you are at least 3 squares away from every other combatant, our target is considered exposed, so it is almost a guaranteed hit on your attack.
Yeah.
So maybe you would like to position her in such a way that she won't want to move. She will not like to move, and she will be able to focus on her attack on Hokaru.
Yeah, but I think we haven't been playing with the advanced rules so far.
Yeah, so we normally, that is actually a perfect play, and I'm glad you're bringing up some of these other advanced rules because there is so much more depth to this than what you guys are even seeing right now. Like Dan said, is using focus to make your enemies exposed will increase the chance that you make your hit. But we've been playing without the advanced rules, which is without sidestep, without reaction attacks, without focus, and without mobbing.
This would have been a very different game.
It's just a little, it actually does make the game very different. But since this was more of a beginner stream, I wanted to make sure our viewers kind of really got a good understanding of the game without getting too bogged down with a lot of the extra rules.
Also, no problem.
All right, Venaris.
Just now rooting for the girls because it would be a nice comeback. So I'm trying to throw in all the weapons I can.
Comeback. We've never lost the lead.
All right, so it's Venaris' turn. So you get to make your move. It looks like you probably won't be able to make an attack, so you'll just have to do a double movement potentially instead. But you don't have to make 2 movements. You can choose not to.
Moving away from Qatar as far as possible, because that's now a pretty dangerous spot.
You can just sit there too. Have to move at all.
I think that's the best play.
Says the enemy team.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So yeah, I could either just move more over here, or stepping on the altar isn't going to help because it's not a portal. So
I can almost taste the tension over here. You can see that.
Well,
You can see
so
that all moves have to be thoughtfully, carefully thought out. But actually, since the beginning of the game, this could happen because you can see that one square for in one direction or one square in the other direction can make a lot of difference.
So Raymond, I'd suggest in this one of just charging in, and the reason I suggest that is Juliet's turn is next. She will most likely not be able to make a multi-target attack, so essentially they'll probably target either Rokaru or your character.
Exactly.
And take one of them out regardless of, like, if you don't move over there, they'll probably attack Rikaru and kill him. So it's either you get into position to attack the next one, or you're going to be further out and we'll be out of it anyway. So I'd suggest just kind of moving in.
It's just going to take one for the team, I think.
There you go.
3.
And you can make it a double movement.
You want me to just here or here? I
Yeah,
don't
that's
know.
probably a good spot.
Guitar.
Keep in mind, well, yeah, I guess it depends on what they choose to do next. We'll leave it up to you.
I could move him here, so let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That should be. Yeah, I'm going to just put him here, hopefully out of range of Qatar.
Okay.
Unless Qatar doesn't have. Oh, he does actually. If he's controlled, can they use a special attack with him? They can.
They only let's see, it's Cerebrokinesis, Kinesis from Elleraine. She can use specials against us, but normally no.
So
Normally it's just
now,
primary attacks.
did you end your turn? Because in planning how to revive Juliet, I said that the best move would be to kill Hokaru early, so he wouldn't be able to attack. But it seems like your next turn is. No, it's not Qatar, right? It's Hokaru the next to move.
Hokaru's next.
Hokaru's next.
Okay. Right.
So,
oh, forget I said anything.
So, team member,
I think,
are we wanting to actually go ahead and start sniping Qatar so that they have to split up this group here?
I want to kill
anyway. Ricaro will move.
I want to kill Ricaro. I think with Icy Wind, and then if you miss one of us miss posts, we'll just run away.
I'll have to move anyway to get
Maybe
the plus 4 damage.
That's true.
Yeah, no, it's 3 away, so I'll have to move. I forget if I move and then attack, do I still have those movement points?
No. You get to move and attack, or
we
attack and then move.
If we want to kill him, we need to do that. Unless I roll 20. Otherwise, I can go ahead and snipe Benares and then move more fully.
I'd have to move away from the action to trigger a passive power, and then with Icy Wind, it is your best chance of killing him because you'll be blessed, and that would be quite enough to kill Hokaru.
Yeah.
I guess I still could move and then attack. I'll be all right. And I can just go
I would just.
I would have to move and attack, otherwise Hokaru wouldn't die, right?
Right. He's got 12. Accuracy plus at least
if
1.
you do Icy Wind and you actually hit both, then you'll be able to kill him. But you have to make both.
If you roll once.
But if you hit once, yeah, you'll be good.
Yeah. So.
There you go. Good play.
So Icy Wind will get the plus 4, plus 11. I get to roll twice.
All right.
So go ahead and do that. Against Karu.
Yeah.
Karu has 7 defense.
14.
All right, it's a hit. And
Whew,
a hit.
it was a 1 there for a second.
All right, so you do enough damage to kill Rikaru.
Just a quick observation, I would have moved behind Elarini so that she would still have vision over Qatar when he advances. Right now, Qatar may hide behind a wall, and then Elarini could move after she attacks in the next turn and move away from the altar so that Juliet is focused on her turn. So I'm pointing that out just so you can see how a small difference in movement can make a whole difference many turns ahead.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it
So that
is
means-
Qatar's turn. And they have played pretty well. They've been able to keep their distance.
Mhm.
And made it so that way Qatar will not be able to make his attack this turn.
Nope. Can get in there, hopefully far enough away from Venaris, so that,
Yeah.
how much? He's got
1,
plenty.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And he'll just have to sit there. There's not a move that he can make this turn.
Wait a second. He's got 12 moving if he moves 2, right?
True, he can move more.
3, 4, 5. So you might want to move just a little bit further. I don't know, because now you're within attacking range of Venaris if they decide to move you with mind control.
Well, they can only move me 2 squares, even if they mind control me.
And
Yeah, it's not
that's
full
another reason. That's another reason why you shouldn't have moved Juliet so close to the wall, because now there is no way whatsoever she can. If it were her turn now, she wouldn't be able to attack without inciting a reaction attack by Qatar. Even if you're not playing with
We're
advanced
not
rules.
playing
I
with
forgot.
it. Yes,
I forgot
no,
once again. You're not playing with advanced
yes,
rules. Okay.
yeah, no. I'm glad you do bring up these little moments because, like I said earlier, sometimes I subconsciously, when I'm playing this game, I play with those rules. So the position that I put Qatar in is actually a really good spot for that because Elleraine would have to incite a reaction attack if she made one against Qatar. So she'd have to sidestep away from him, and then Juliet is kind of locked to a corner. So she actually would
You
have
just
to incite a
instinctively.
reaction attack.
You just instinctively never put your character with your backs on the wall
Yep.
because of that.
At least for range characters. All right, so you guys get to make. We probably got enough time for maybe 1-2 turns here before we got to move on.
So
Okay, so are you wanting to do another heroic action, or are you wanting to do one of your specials? Or?
Well, we can get rid of
The next turn is Vanaros, right? And he cannot attack.
Right.
Yeah, so we do have
You.
at least a small.
Yeah, so it would be bad to kill him because if you killed Vanaros, you would be
Then
killing a character that will have no turn in the next turn.
Yeah. You probably want to do Mind Link, is what I would think.
Especially, yeah, I was going to say that, okay, you can move Juliet without inciting reaction attacks.
Yep.
For the 11th time today, I would forget that we're not playing.
But
No,
that's
it's
you
good.
can move persons outside of their turn like that. Yeah.
So let's go with Mind Link. We can start hitting. Qatar, I guess. Because his movement is what?
And we could also just
So there's a way to
Can we
optimize
burn
this
his
one.
barbaric rage?
You could, but he wouldn't be able to make enough movement to.
Yeah, so it just
Good.
burn him, right?
There's a way to optimize this one is you move Elaraine towards the center over here, and then she makes Mind Link on Qatar, and then she uses Juliet to make an attack on Venaris. And that way you can use Despair to kill between Juliet's attack and Despair hitting Venaris, that would kill him.
If both hit.
Yeah, assuming both hit. But you're going to do the most damage that way and take out an enemy.
Yeah, but you want Venaris to take his turn.
Yeah, that's the thing. Because right
you?
now, I do. I think we're gonna do Mind Link on.
This is an interesting situation because you are going to deliberately not kill an enemy that you can because it will waste his turn.
Mm.
So
Interesting.
nice situation there.
Yep.
I still like the idea of also just trying to burn the barbaric rage.
Yeah, I think
That's true
we
too.
got time for one more attack here. So you guys pick what you want to do, and then we'll get to
Or
teams.
if we have one more turn for one more attack, we could go and kill Venaris and then say the winner is whoever has the most people alive.
Beautiful.
Yeah, you could apply the tie-breaking rules of tournaments.
Now we're official.
Let's actually do that
Yeah, but
idea.
I think
If we
that
have
you
one more,
would
yeah,
lose
let's have
anyway.
fun with another character.
It's always fun to kill another
See.
character. Just
Or roll.
I will remind you.
Oh, this could be a ultimate tying situation because Qatar has 65 HP, and if you add up Elarine's and Juliet's HP, it's exactly 65 as well.
Is a 43
So you are tied.
plus 22.
Okay, well we're gonna do our heroic action then.
So yes,
We
exactly.
can win by that.
I was thinking about using her special to get rid of Qatar's.
Sure, yeah, you can do that too. I was just saying if we're counting health, that would.
Oh, if you want to do that, we can do that too.
I don't want to do our last thing just be a heroic.
Yeah, but see, the ladies took the first turn, so we do get to end the round. So we do get to take an extra turn, and then.
But that's unfortunate because I was very curious to know who would win this match. I was really hopeful that the girls could turn the tables around after having one versus
it's
three.
getting pretty close. I mean, easily it could be turned around right here.
Yeah, let's do heroic.
So
Yeah,
actually,
they do more damage. They do more damage, and Vanados will waste his turn. So I think that
a match against Qatar and Laren would just be her moving him farther away, moving all the way back, and
Code, you think too much like me.
over and over again. Did you do it?
So
I did.
Yeah, Code did that, which so for
we go.
people that don't know, he's using a heroic action which heals the person that used it, which is Elaraine, and then it makes her immune from damage.
We're gonna make the 18 health go to Juliet, I think, because you can do an ally.
Yep. Oh yeah, you're right. So it could go to Juliet. So the funny thing was, if you guys were not gonna attack Venaris, the next play we were gonna do was this: heroic defense on Venaris. So we were already in the same mindset. All right, guys. Well,
right,
that was,
and one interesting thing there would be if you killed Vanados and it was only, let's say, Elarini versus Qatar, and you do not have reaction attack rules. So what you would be able to do, assuming that you hit every single attack you made, you would be able to run away and then puppet dance Qatar away from you. He would never be able to reach you to make one of his primary attacks. And then you would eventually be able to move him to lava, dropping him 4 HP at a time until 78 turns later, assuming every attack
way to have another player
would be able to kill Qatar.
Yeah, it's actually a lot closer than it sometimes can appear in here, but you guys definitely could have easily won this one right here near the end. Okay, guys. Well,
question,
that
John.
was a lot of fun. We don't have quite enough time to finish it up, but it extremely close game. So there was one last subject I wanted to go over, and that is here. Let me just move these pieces out of the way, so I got room for it. Is team compositions. So, being that there is a lot of new players to Arena of the Contest and Tanares Adventures, one of the biggest challenge, right, is just picking your team. And in this match we only did 3v3. Most of the time when I'm playing, I play a lot of 4v4 for PvP, but for PvE, the rules actually state that you have 4 heroes that you play with. So I created a list here of some compositions that I think would be great for some beginners, but there is some that are a little bit more advanced. So, hold on, I'm bringing up my sheet here because I wrote notes on each of them. So going left to right is our first team composition, and this is actually the one that Michael, you almost picked identically at the beginning.
Yeah, when I was first talking, I voiced my like for all those characters.
This first one is I call the A team because they are a relatively pretty easy to use team. A lot of their abilities are pretty straightforward. You don't need to know essentially all the more advanced rules and combinations of the game, so it makes it a little easier for some starting players. It's a very high damage team. Drana is the highest damage tank. Neri can do a lot of AoE damage and do a lot of single target damage. You got Qatar, who is a beast of a damage dealer, as you guys saw in the match we did today. And then you got Talia, the druid, who has great support. She's got a resurrection ability, and she can help enhance some of the abilities of her allies. So, and then they also have essentially a higher chance to make their attacks. You'll notice that explosive arrow on Neri gives her a bonus to her roll, and Qatar has a similar ability that gives him bonuses to his roll. So if you're first starting out with the Arena, this would be a fantastic team to start your campaign or quest or whatever you want to do with. The next composition I came up with, I like to call the Knockaround Gang, which I actually reversed the order of these, so I'm gonna cover them after. So I'm gonna go with, it's called Max Damage. So that's this team here. It exists of Zanuck, Cedric, Renkier, and Taram. So this team is very high single target damage. Each of these heroes, except with the case of the healer, but he still can do some damage, is they can do very high single target damage and be able to take down targets very quickly. You have healing.
Or there's a small modification you can do here to have a little bit of healing in your team and still call this the it's a combo team that I call Eternal Cedric, right? So Cedric is much stronger when he's below 35 HP. So if you take Taram out of the team and put Zafara has good healing abilities and she can revive an ally. And Kier can already revive an ally, and then you replace Zanuck for the third hero that can revive an ally, which is Talia, and then you send the who let the dogs out, right? Then you unleash all the fury of Cedric onto your enemies, and whenever he dies, you just revive him, and he just keeps pounding the enemies without ever dying. So you have 3 allies that revive Cedric, and Cedric never dies.
Yeah, that's definitely a great option. Personally, I chose Tarum in this one because of Divine Grace, essentially to be able to pop that onto Cedric to help him sustain a little bit longer. But I mean, that option would work just as well and potentially even better. So it's a good variation. All right, the next team, and another thing I'd like to note too is I did these in order of kind of simplicity and versatility. So the guys at the top are pretty versatile and pretty easy to use, and then it's kind of going down from there. So the next team is the team I called the Knockaround Gang. You saw two of these today, Veneris and Rokaru, because they have the ability to swap and move enemies. And then we have Jade to add into that, where she can help move her allies around and put them in better positions, which is really good with the Minotaur, who can do trample and be able to move through a whole bunch of enemies and do a ton of damage, as well as
There's
moving
an
around.
also there's also another combo that you can make with Jade and Morlog where you make it easier for him to critically hit.
Yeah, was that?
And there, and his attack, if he rolls 17 or more, he will deal a lot more damage from his critical hit.
Exactly, and
So
that's why I
yeah,
picked him as well.
usually when I get Garyon, what are the other two? Let me just see quickly. What are the other two heroes in this team? Yeah, when I pick Hokaru and Vanaros, what I usually like to make is just pound on the fact that they move enemies, and I pick other two heroes that move enemies, but not Morlog. I like Avelum. I do not see Avelum here. He's the wizard.
Yeah,
He's the
he's
best
up there.
character for moving other enemies around and attacking an area. So what you do with everyone and Jorana is also very good with this thing that moves enemies around, because you can simply pile your enemies all together and then you strike every single one of them with Avelun's attacking area. Uh, then you, on top of that, you get everyone to be around Vanados and Jorana, proccing two passive powers at the same time from the Bruiser and from the tank. So it's a nightmare to play against this kind of thing, especially on boards that are filled with many tiles like lava and walls, because especially if you use the advanced rules, you will trigger a lot of reaction attacks and
Mhm.
you will make enemies step on lava, so it's really a nightmare.
Yep, and that is a lot of the same ideas that I took upon building this team. But like you said, is there's a lot of other variations you can make to this and be able to accomplish very similar things. I did consider putting Avalum in there actually as a
Yeah,
hero.
it's interesting that you have literally thousands of possibilities, and with every, if you have all the expansions, you're gonna get close to the million of possibilities. So you can really make small adjustments and to try different things out and explore one or the other advantage while looking at what your enemy has picked and make counter picks. So this is a very complex and often overlooked part of uh, the game.
Yeah. So this team it's a really good team. It's going to require a little bit more knowledge of the game to be able to use effectively. So just keep that in mind if you want to play with this team or a variation that Dan mentioned. And the last team, this is definitely by far probably the most complex, and it's kind of almost a little cheesy in a bit of a ways. I called it the Thieves and Death. You'll notice you got Garen the Rogue, Elaraine the Telepath, Ustar the Necromancer, and Nakril the Death Knight. So this team is kind of focused on copying attacks, stealing abilities, controlling heroes, preventing healing. They do have some movement, and then there is some healing. So but this team is personally, I'd probably put this maybe more towards a PvP match than maybe doing the campaign. But you could always do this with the campaign as well.
What'd you name this one?
The Thieves in Death, because Garen and Elleraine are essentially steal and copy attacks of their enemies. And then you have Ustar the Necromancer, who can use his dead allies' abilities. And then you got the Death Knight. I mean, what do you need more than that, right?
I like it.
Cool.
So, you got any comments for that one, Dan?
No, I think that is a very interesting thing. I don't know if I have ever played with this exact composition out of the thousands that you can play with. And it's a very interesting one. I would call them the Thieves of Life.
The Thieves of Life. That's a better name. Yeah.
They steal the other enemy's HP.
Awesome. Well, anyway, that's my 4 team compositions that I put together for newer players. And that should conclude our stream for today. So I hope you guys enjoyed what we had for you, the match, and speaking with Dan and seeing what kind of teams there are out there. I'm going to bring it back here to the Discord. There we go. We got everybody back here. Anyway, I want to thank everyone for coming out today. There's a lot of fun. Love playing this game, and you guys can find everyone else on here in their own social media, which I'll be linking to this video on YouTube and probably add into Twitch as well. Anything else you guys want to say?
Well, like I said,
No, thank you.
I haven't played this game since February, since before the lockdown, because of the lockdown, of course. I did my review in February, so it's been a while, and it's just so easy to pick it up again. It's just the basic rules are very simple, and you have this leaflet, the quick start guide from the game, and basically everything that's on your character's cards and your abilities, and that's it. And you can get going, and that's just it. It just gets going so easily. It comes back to you really fast. Fantastic. Yeah. Love that.
Yeah, I've enjoyed every game I've ever played of Arena. It's always a lot of fun. I kind of agree. It's like it's simple to understand, but it's very complex in how they all interact with each other. So it's one of the most nuanced kind of PvP experiences I think I've had, which I really like. I think Dan, you mentioned like a dozen or 2 dozen what ifs, for well, if we had done this, what would have happened then, or if we tried this strategy, what would happen then. And that's even if you just kept the same characters and the same map and even the same turn order, you could still play totally different games. So I really like it.
One of the reports that we most get from new players of Arena is exactly that. You read the rules and then you start messing around with the pieces, and you think you kind of underestimate the potential for depth in the game. So you think, well, this is too easy, this is too simple, this is too basic, and then they get and go play the first mission of the campaign, and many are completely destroyed by the enemy orcs.
Challenging.
Yeah, and then they kind of start to think, well, be more than I first initially looked in the tactical possibilities of the game, and then you start to take advantage of advanced rules and passive power and your positioning and these nuances that Michael mentioned. They really start to add up, and at the end of the match you see that you will really take a piece of paper and start to note everything that you did differently to proc your passive powers and to take advantage of small nuances. You see that you dealt like 100 damage extra than you could have given, you could have dealt if you played just mindlessly, right?
Yes.
So with that being said, I would really like to thank you all so much. I'm really glad to have the opportunity to talk more about the game. It's a passion for us. We love this game and everything that we do. So I really take with pleasure these moments, and I just a tad sad because I didn't get to see Elarini turning the game around and beating the boys. I was hopeful that the girls would win this match. It would be a nice turnaround. And for everybody that is watching, I would just like to say that visit our booth at Spiel Online. You can download a sample of the Art and World book and a sample of the RPG book as well. We did not release to the public all chapters of the RPG book yet, all the samples that we are going to launch, but you can see one of them there. And if you missed any other interviews by Alex with other people, you can also see all the media coverage in our booth at Spiel Online. And later today, we're going to launch a giveaway at our booth. So I invite everyone to join over there.
Very nice.
And so again, thank you all very much. Thank you, Francois. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Raymond. Thank you, Oliver. And thank you, James.
And thank you for your time to explain and to show your great game.
Oh, anytime, man. Anytime.
Yeah, well, thanks everyone for coming. If you want to see more arena content, that's basically what my channel focuses on. And the other guys, I did a little bit of reviewing, and I know Raymond did an excellent learn to play on his channel. And then King Average does a fantastic review of the game that I think does a really good job of explaining it to people. All right, well, that's it for today, guys, and we hope you enjoy the rest of the convention and get to check out some fun games. So we'll see you later.
Okay,
Yes.
bye-bye.
Thanks.
Bye-bye, everyone.